place. What's really great is if you know someone who would benefit from this information, but they weren't able to be here this evening, this presentation is going to be uploaded to our website under ACE, so you'll be able to reference it all year round. We've actually already sent you some really great information about ACE, so hopefully this is an opportunity to take some of the myth and mystery out of it, to give you some really important information, and also an opportunity for you to get clear on just some various aspects of the ACE program. Should I go ahead and dive on in, Mr.
Real quick,
Bryan?
I forgot to say, si usted necesita que le traduzcan, por favor presionen el globo y se entran presionen donde dice español y ahí le van a poder traducir. All right, you can go ahead, Miss J.
Okay, fantastic. I'm going to, oh, may I share my screen, please, Mr. Bryan?
Yes,
It's
I have
not
to make you
letting me.
co-host. Sorry about that.
All good.
There you are.
Okay, there we go. My beautiful presentation. All right, so welcome to ACE, everybody. Welcome to activities, clubs, and extracurriculars. The A in ACE does not stand for athletics. So please, please, pretty please, do not ask me any questions about the sports or the sports ball. I do not know the answer to those questions. So activities, clubs, and extracurriculars. Let's get going. All right. Gonna start you off right away. There is some good news and there is some bad news. So we're going to start with the bad news so we can get to all the good news. All right. The bad news is, my friends, if you are here today to see a list of clubs and classes for fall 2025, you are not going to see it today. It is simply not ready yet. If some of the 72 of you back out of the presentation now, I will not be offended. Watch, I click back and it's like 6 people. I promise I have good reasons for all of this. So of course you're asking the question, but Miss J, why isn't it ready yet? Why? It's actually a pretty good couple of reasons. So first and foremost, 98% of ACE teachers work at DCI. They are our faculty and staff. And at this point in the year, they just don't know their full schedules. They don't know their duties. They don't know when they're going to have department meetings. They don't know when they're going to have required tutoring until school begins, which is around now. So I can't actually build the fall schedule until around now. I have to give our teachers time, which actually leads into the next bit of reason why I don't have the schedule ready right now, which is I don't want to give you wrong information. I want the schedule to be as accurate as possible. I want to send it to you so that you can plan your life around it if there are specific activities you really want to do. And I would rather give you more accurate information later than something earlier that's going to be all topsy-turvy and changed. I once, with literally 5 minutes before I pressed the magic button to open Fall ACE for the year, had a teacher contact me and say, Miss J, I just found out my department meetings got moved to Tuesdays. I can't lead this club anymore. So things are always shifting and always changing at the last minute, but I really, really want to give you as accurate info as possible before we dive on into programs. I promise that I will send that schedule to you within a week of registration opening. You will have time to sit down to look at it. You will have time to talk about it with your kiddos. Okay. Speaking of which, are you ready for the good news? Parents, guardians, family in general, kids even. Here, right here, in front of your beautiful faces, are the exact dates and times that we are going to open all 3 trimesters of ACE, fall, winter, and spring. They are also the dates of all of the sessions of ACE, fall, winter, and spring. I am not kidding. Kiddos, if you are with your parents right now, tap them on the shoulder. Tell them to take out their cellular telephones, their calendars, whatever it is you do to track your life right now, and put these dates in your phone. Set reminders. We are giving you a year's advance notice of all of this information. So especially here where it says Monday, September 8th at noon, that is when we are opening fall ACE. Saturday, November 22nd at 10 is when we are opening winter. Monday, March 7th at 10 is when we are opening spring. That way you can plan around it, reserve it, do what you need to do. This is the dates that everything that is happening. Has everyone made a plan? I'm not reading the chat while we go, just an FYI. So like maybe Mr. Brian, you could.
Yeah, I'll keep track of that. Don't worry, Ms. J.
Is it people saying, wow, Miss J, this is fantastic. You're a genius.
They love that you've given us the dates already.
Yay! I love it. See, I am that little thing. What are those called? Minions? I'm excited too. Okay. Look at these dates. Again, they're not going away, and we actually already sent an email with them in it about a week ago, and we'll send them again. But just take a moment, screenshot it, take a picture, take care, okay? I'm clicking away. Click. All right. Regular ACE times are from 3:45 p.m. until 5:15 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And we have a Friday program from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. We also have aftercare, which is different from ACE. This is Monday through Thursday and only from middle school from 5:15 to 6 p.m. for an additional fee. So we will watch your students Monday through Thursday as late as 6 p.m. There are just different pricing tiers for that. Here is another thing to maybe not necessarily put in your calendar, but maybe take a picture of. These are dates when we would not have ACE and circumstances when we do not have ACE. So if school is closed for students are not going to school regularly, or there's inclement weather, or it's student-led conferences, teacher professional days, and then these very specific dates, we are not having ACE on these dates. All of these dates are on the official school 2025-2026 calendar for the year. I've just written them all out here as well, but our calendar matches this. So please keep this in mind, and again, plan ahead. We are not having ACE the entire week of Thanksgiving. If you know your kid's going to need care, you can start planning on that now, okay? Moving on. So some important ACE team people. There is Jillian, that's me, but I am Miss J. I go by Miss J to all of our kiddos. I am your mostly fearless leader. We also have the fantastic Nick Lopez, also known as Mr. Nick. He is our ACE specialist. There are over 100 DCI staff members that teach our ACE clubs after school. And get ready for this. We just got the data back. The number of individual students in ACE last year was 1,050. That is 70% of our school. And that was actually one of our 5-year goals for 2029 was to have 70% of our school involved in ACE in one way or another. We are already doing it. I'm pretty proud of that. Okay, remember, ACE is not sports. I do not know sports ball. I know we are good at sports ball, but I don't know anything about sports. So anything sports related, you should email to athletics@dcinternationalschool.org. We have a fantastic athletics team. They will help you. I cannot. Also, weird, but chess, cheerleading, and esports are all considered athletics. They are not run by ACE. I know, chess. Chess is considered a sport in the District of Columbia, so I do not run the chess team. Again, that is a situation where you email athletics for assistance. And pardon me for like really pushing this in, but this is important. I will never know when a game is, I will never know when tryouts are, and I will never be responsible for where your students go when sports are canceled. You need to communicate all of your sports needs with athletics. And another important thing, students may not automatically join ACE on a day when sports are canceled. I have kids walk into clubs, random clubs some days, and they said, oh, I was told to just go here because track was canceled today. Athletics is responsible for securing care for your student. They might end up in ACE Lounge, they might end up in specific situations, but they don't automatically run into a classroom just because sports is canceled. That's a safety issue. I need to know who is here and who is where if there is an emergency, and if we have someone sneak into a class, that jeopardizes that safety. Oh my goodness, what happened to one of my, oh, there we go. Okay, so important things about DCI after school policies. This is really important. This is actually in our student handbook, and it's the second year that it's been in our student handbook. Students can only be at DCI after 3:50 p.m. for the following reasons. If they are enrolled in an ACE club, if they are practicing with a sports team, if they are tutoring with a teacher, if they are accompanied by you, a parent or guardian at a meeting, or if they are at a school-sponsored event like a game or a dance. If students are not doing any of these activities, they must fully leave our building and fully leave our campus. There is no waiting at the front desk. They cannot sit out on the courts, the lounges, the libraries, etc. I once had a student walk up to me and show me a text message from their parent on a phone that said, "Just find a room to hang out in until I can get there." Not okay, not correct. We do have drop-in options, especially for lounge. You can drop into the ACE lounge anytime you want for students who need care, but the solution to your student needing care after school is they need to be watched by an adult at DCI in one of these organized ways. They cannot just wander the building. They cannot just sit anywhere. Okay, again, that is about safety, security, and us being able to protect your students in our building. Okay, Community Pass. Community Pass is the system that we use for registration for ACE. Sixth grade parents, you're probably wondering, I don't have a Community Pass account. How do I get a Community Pass account? What even is this system? Okay, so OSSE, or the Office of the Superintendent of Schools and Education, they have an official system called eSchools, which we use to register students. Our system, Community Pass, connects to eSchools. So when your students start at DCI and all of their information is uploaded and they are fully registered into our eSchools system, there is an upload between eSchools and Community Pass that puts all of the new sixth graders, new ninth graders, new any graders into the system. Once that happens and that transfer happens, I press a magic button that sends you an email with account information already built into this system. If you found a link to Community Pass and you clicked on it right now, it would deny you the ability to sign in. That's because I don't want just anybody signing in. I only want DCI families creating accounts and working on their accounts, okay? But once you get that email, and my plan, sixth grade parents, is to email it to you on the first day of school, August 25th. That is when I am planning on sending anyone who's new their welcome to Community Pass. And literally, you click open your email, you click a button, and you do everything to confirm your account. It's pretty simple and straightforward once it is sent. First day of school, look for it. When you get there, you will have this login page. And I just want to let you know one really quick thing. It's important. Up here in the corner of this page, when you go to Community Pass, it says Translate. If you click on it, you can translate it into over 200 languages. So if you feel comfortable or better reading the ACE information or having Community Pass accessible to you in a different language, you will be able to do that on your home computer and on your phone. Okay? So once you receive your username and your password to Community Pass, and families, I know for some of you, this is how it is. This is what your landing page is going to look like. There are a couple of important things on this landing page. First, you'll see right here in the center of it, something that says click here to register. It says registration closed right now because I have nothing for you to register for. When ACE clubs become available, that gray button will turn into a lovely orange button that says fall clubs. Once you click on those and they're open, you'll be able to access the offerings. But also down here at the bottom are some useful links: viewing and paying balances, viewing registrations, viewing your actual account. You will also notice that for this particular user, there is a message that says important message, balance paid, lock lifted. So families who are returning, if you have unpaid ACE bills from last school year, fall, winter, or spring, you will not be able to register for ACE clubs this coming fall. You should have been receiving emails and communications from Nick Lopez, the ACE specialist, who I mentioned earlier, Please make sure you follow his instructions and links to make sure that your account is fully balanced and in good standing before we open ACE for registration on September 8th, so that you're not struggling to pay an unpaid bill and potentially missing out on registering. Okay. When you click on view account, I couldn't fit everything here, but basically, like, this is an example, our Lisa Williams and children and other adults. Here in this part of the Community Pass, you're also able to add non-family members who are authorized for pickup and add various other kinds of information. But when you click on account information, that's when you get. You can also click on view and pay balances, either here or on that button I showed you earlier. This will show you what you owe and current amount due and balance. And what's great is you can also click and view the statement. I know sometimes folks need to turn in billing statements for flex accounts and flex spending and support from your job, potentially for childcare after school. That is where you find that information and download it. But if you have any trouble accessing that information, you can always contact me and my team and we will help you. Okay, a little bit about ACE pricing, okay? You might want to go ahead and take a screenshot of this as well, but basically we have 3 tiers of pricing for ACE after school. There is regular ACE pricing, there is FARMS or free and reduced lunch pricing, and then there is EA, also known as extra assistance tuition. A ACE club that meets 1 day a week that you take for the trimester is $135, okay? 2 days, 3 days, etc. adds up and all that. And then FARMS for free and reduced pricing, it's actually less than half of what regular tuition is. And then if you receive extra assistance tuition, you actually do not have to pay through Monday through Thursday ACE. You are only charged for Friday ACE. One thing I did not include in here, and my apologies, it's actually in an ACE one-pager, and I will add a page for this. Friday ACE, because it is a 5-hour program from 1 to 6, that pricing is a little different. That is $420 for the trimester. The reduced price, I think, is $280, and then EA is $45. A lot of people ask me what EA status is, what extra assistance status is. That is something that is actually representative from DC government benefits. So if you're on SNAP, TANF, etc., you actually apply for those benefits through the government of DC. If you are approved, that information is sent to OSSE, the Office of the Superintendent of Schools and Education, and they send that information to us. So that status and direct cert is not something you can apply for through DCI. That is something different. But if you're going to qualify for FARMS and free reduced lunch and these discounts, that you absolutely do through ACE, okay? We also have drop-in tuition, like I said, $6 a day, $4 a day, $1 a day, pretty straightforward. We have lots of opportunities, and then it's $50. It's not $50 a day, it's per day of the week of the trimester. So if you need after-school care 1 day a week, it's $50 on that 1 day a week for the entire 12 weeks of the trimester, okay? A little bit more information about FARMS forms. They need to be filled out, submitted, and approved before ACE opens for registration on September 8th, or the discounts will not apply. When you get approved for FARMS, that information gets put into your eSchools, and again, that gets uploaded into the system with Community Pass. So if you've been approved by DCI and that applies, it will show up on your account as well. Another important thing, you have to submit your FARMS forms to reception@dcinternationalschool.org. Do not send them to me. Do not send them to the ACE team. These can only be processed by reception. And a filled out form is not the same as an approval. You have to fill out the form, send it to reception, have them fully process it. Please do it now. We just sent a text message reminder and an email reminder about FARMS forms recently. So please make sure you get that done. It also, just to note, must be completed for DCI, even if you were approved for FARMS at your previous school. I have had families say to me, but she had it in 5th grade, but they had it in 4th grade. It doesn't matter. It doesn't automatically carry over. You have to fill out the forms for us in order for it to apply. And then again, I just explained what EA status was. That's also known as direct certification, SNAP, TANF benefits, etc. DC government benefits, you do not apply through DCI. OSSI sends us a list of folks who apply, who are approved. Okay. Onward we go. But Miss J, how do I ace? South Park has been amazing the last few episodes. I'm just saying out loud, just a little tip. Kids, you're too young. Don't you watch it. But adults, it's very good. Oh no, I went the wrong way. Hate when that happens. Okay, how to ace 101. Where do your students go? What do your students do? You've gotten into ace. What happens next? So when school is dismissed for the day, if students are in ACE, they should report to the cafeteria where they eat lunch. So that's 6th graders to the 6th grade cafe, 7th through 12th graders, you come to the main cafe. You will know what that means by the time school starts. Students who are in ACE that day can receive a free snack at the cafeteria. Only on days when you have ACE. You can't come to ACE cafeteria on a Thursday and say, but I have ACE on Tuesday and get a snack. Sorry, we count the exact number of students who are registered, and that is what we have in the way of snack. If your student is an athlete, they should go to the gym to get their snack and to prep for sports. They should not go to either cafe. And students who are in tutoring should go directly to the classroom where their teacher is located. They should not go to the cafes. So, ACE is the cafe, gym for sports, classroom for tutoring. Fairly intuitive. Students should be in their ACE clubs from 3:45 p.m. until 5:15 p.m. Students have automatic permission to self-dismiss from their ACE clubs at any time, unless... Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. All students in ACE have permission to self-release at any time unless we are alerted otherwise in writing at acedci@dcinternationalschool.org. You will have two options. You can have the option to put your student on a call immediately list if you want to be contacted if your student is not present in their ACE club at the time of attendance. That means that we take attendance between 3:45 and 3:55. If you want your student on that list, that means that if they are not there, standing there for attendance, I drop everything and call you right away. I cannot tell you over the years how many people have asked to put their child on the call immediately list. I see the child is not there. I call the parent and they say, well, of course not. The kid's with me. ACE and school are different things and different programs. If your child is absent from school, I don't necessarily know that they're not going to be in ACE that day. I don't necessarily know when your kid went home early for a different reason. So if your child is on the call immediately list specifically, please do my heart and my blood pressure a solid. And if you know your kid's not going to be in ACE that day, just let me know, okay? So that I am aware. You also have the option to put your student on a no self-release list if you wish to have your student wait with an ACE teacher until you come into the building to pick them up. That's a really essential thing. If you don't want your student to just self-release and run out of the building when ACE is over, it's not an option of they stay with me until you call and say, no, I'm out on Aspen, come on out. You need to park and you need to physically come inside the building to retrieve your child from me if you are putting them on the no self-release list, okay? It's also perfectly fine for you to put them on those lists for a little while, see how things go, and then let me know that you want them off of it. That is also okay. But those are extra precautions we have in place. Again, you need to request that in writing at acedci@DC International School, or I'm just going to let your kid go when they tell me it's time to go. That's simple. All right. Students can be placed on both lists. And yes, as I said before, please email acedci if you're not going to be present. Every day by 4:30 p.m., I am going to send out an email called the Your Child is Not in ACE email, notifying families if your students are marked absent from ACE. If you know where your student is, you do not need to reply to me. If you know where your student is, you do not need to reply to me. And if you know where your student is, you do not need to reply to me, okay? It says so in the actual email. I am sending you that email so that if you are expecting your kid to be an ace and they aren't there, we can immediately begin the process of looking for them. But if you know where they are, we are fine. We are golden. Thank you so much. Okay, some registration changes and drops. Things happen. I acknowledge this. So sometimes your kid will make it onto a sports team and they want to drop their club. Any clubs that they are registered for are dropped from their schedule, and those funds are transferred to your athletics bill. So if you had your kid in robotics on Tuesdays and theater on Thursdays, and you make it into the soccer team and they practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays, any money that you have paid to me for that club, I send it in your account to your athletics bill. You don't have to pay double. We don't have to do the refund game. But here are some important things to note. I do not hold space in a club after you drop out for a sport. So if soccer conflicts with baking, I take that student out of baking ASAP so that that spot can be offered to a student on the wait list. But Miss J, soccer ends 3 weeks before baking does. Can't my child just take baking for those last 3 weeks? No, they may not. I am giving those spots away. Baking is very popular. I want to let people in who are going to benefit from the entirety of the 12-week course. So if you drop me for a sport, sorry, you're not getting back into that particular club, okay? We also, I know I can't tell you to do this, but I can strongly encourage you to not sign up for clubs if your ultimate preference is to do sports teams that run at the same time, okay? Again, I know I can't make you do that, but perhaps I could gently encourage you. We're not starting ACE until September 15th this year because my hope is that all middle school athletics lists will be out and done by September 8th when ACE opens. Because I only want people who are absolutely going to pick clubs above anything else to be the folks who are in line to get them when registration opens. It can be challenging sometimes when I have 5 people in baking drop out a week after being into it because they find out they get a sport. Yes, I can go to the wait lists and that's great and I let people in, but by then people have had a bad experience or they're upset that they didn't get in the first time or they made alternate plans for care right away. So if sports are your kid's passion, I encourage you to sport. But I get it. You want to have something back up. Anyway, just a little bit of a tip, that's all. Your student is allowed to attend a club twice and then decide to drop it for a full refund. I don't want to make you do something that your kid is not having a good time with. But drop requests must also be sent in writing. If your child suddenly drops out, stops coming to a club, I will continue every week to send you that email that says your child was not an ace. If your kid doesn't come for the rest of the trimester, and then at the end of that time, you write to me and say, well, I want my money back because he didn't come. No, no, no. You have to let me know in writing that you're dropping a club, please. It's simple. They don't have good time. My feelings won't be hurt. I would rather be informed than ghosted. Informing me gets you a refund. Ghosting me does not. That's how it works. Okay, a little bit of restorative info. The same rules of school apply to ACE. We write referrals when rules are broken. We hold mediations between students when there is conflict. If a student receives 3 referrals during ACE, an in-person meeting must occur between the student and a parent or guardian, and the student may be removed from the program for the rest of the trimester. There are certain circumstances where a student may be removed from ACE immediately due to violations of safety and security. You have a student that starts a really bad fight that hurts another student, that might end up being it. We need to keep things as safe as possible at school. As I said, we had 1,050 individual students in ACE last year, but our number of staff reduces dramatically after school. We don't have members of the restorative staff who work after school. We don't have counselors who work after school. We need to be able, with the staff that we have, to support as many students as possible. And if your students severely violate our rules, we have to have serious conversations about whether or not ACE is something they can continue doing. Also, if a student has ISS or OSS, that's in school suspension or out of school suspension on a day when they have ACE, they may not attend ACE that day. Alrighty. What is the best way to prep for ACE? People always ask me. I know, crazy idea. Ask your student what they want to do. And yes, it is totally okay to put them in the lounge. Hear me. If you needed someone to look you in the eye, I am staring right into my camera. If you needed someone to give you permission to just put your kid in the lounge, I give you permission. You're a wonderful parent. Please put your kid in the room where they can just chill out and take a nap. It's awesome. I think sometimes folks don't fully realize until they're in it that our program here at DCI is absolutely extraordinary and it is rigorous. IB is a lot, and sometimes your kid just needs to zone their brain out for 90 minutes first thing after school. That's totally fine. I literally have a class called the DCI Lounge where your student hangs out supervised in a room. That is completely fine. Do I have a ton of different kinds of activities? Yes. But if you need opportunities for your kid to just rest, I have those too. And that is a perfectly fine thing to do after school. Believe me, if I could have a nap during ACE, I would. You didn't hear me say that. Moving on. All right. Parents, guardians, I love you. I love you so, so, so much. You have sent me some interesting emails over the years. So I'm going to share a couple of greatest hits and some of my responses. This is an actual email that was written to me a few years ago. Why are you forcing the kids, to cook soup in the cooking club? It is hot outside. And my response to that is, I am always open to parents and guardians who are able to volunteer and teach for ACE. Please email me if you are interested. If you think you can lend your expertise and skills and passions to teaching a club after school, I would absolutely love to have you join us. That is my response, and I mean that sincerely. This is one of my favorites. My kid argues with me at home all the time, so I think they will be perfect for debate. My response to that is these are different actions and skill sets. I strongly encourage conversation between you and your student for first and second choices of things that they want to do after school. I also think that sometimes, because I know that this was something that was very much a dynamic in my own home growing up, there were things that my parents were really passionate about that really felt strongly that I should do or I should try. And some of them I liked, and some of them I really hated. So to go back to my previous slides, the best thing for you to do and the best way to have buy-in in ACE is for the kids to do what they want to do. Do I absolutely want you to encourage and push them to try something new and go outside their comfort zone and be a risk taker? Absolutely. But if there is something where your kid is like, I really don't want to do this, then that's not going to be great for anybody. Okay. And finally, this is a big one. There is no space left in baking. I told my kid they would take baking, and this is going to ruin their fall. So here's what we have done. We have 80 spots in cooking and baking clubs every trimester. And students may only take one cooking and baking club. I actually set it up in the registration system so that if, let's say on Monday, you click Monday baking, all of the cooking clubs on the rest of the list of ACE offerings immediately go gray and you can't click on them. So if you were thinking in your head, we're going to take cooking and baking every day. Nope, the system is literally stopping you from doing that. You can take one per trimester. Okay. Believe it or not, with 80 spots available, I know it's really popular and sells out really quickly, but it actually is technically one of the largest extracurricular opportunities that we offer at DCI. People keep asking me, Miss J, why don't you build another kitchen? Why don't you put in 6 more ovens? People have said, can't you cook in the cafeterias? It doesn't work that way. Our ovens are not designed that way. And as has probably been told to you a million times, DCI is a very historic building. In order to build a kitchen, that involves plumbing and vents and all kinds of things. And it would take us years to get approval to modify the building to add another kitchen. That's even saying if we were able to find the space to do it. So I really am trying as best as possible to put as many kids in as I can. I monitor attendance very carefully. If students are not coming to clubs, we take them out of the clubs and we take people off the wait lists. A lot of people think the wait lists are a myth. They absolutely are not. I take folks off of them all the time. So courage, dear hearts. Don't worry. We're going to figure out a way for your kid to get into that club. And just so you know, I think a lot of people blame a lot of different reasons for why there's no room in cooking and baking. The reality is the single biggest reason is, again, like I mentioned, folks who plan on being in sports, taking a spot in a cooking club just in case, and also people not realizing, despite us sending the information, that they can only take one cooking or baking club. That usually during actual registration time is what hicks things up and has things go so quickly. So please be prepared. Please keep that in mind. And yes, it is possible that it will sell out and you won't get it this particular time. Please keep trying. I have yet to run into someone who has never gotten into a cooking club ever in a school year. And I am willing to work with you to help make those dreams come true. Okay. Just some final important points and advice that I think is really important for all of you to remember. So as I said, last school year, 1,050 individuals were enrolled in the ACE program. That is 70% of our school. The dedicated ACE staff consists of 2 people. The dedicated ACE staff consists of 2 people, Miss J and Mr. Nick, me and Nick. We work incredibly hard to meet as many needs and wishes as possible every year. Your grace and patience as we endeavor to care for your kids and bring them joy is really deeply appreciated. I hope that you will remember in our communications, in our interactions, as we dive into this year together, that we, at the end of the day, are 2 humans who are trying our best. And we really look forward to collaborating with you on this important realm of student life. No one understands better than me that a huge part of creating your future, to committing yourself to the student agency pillar of our school, is just as much rooted in their extracurricular life as it is in their academic life. I want so badly to make things happen for your kids. It's really important to me. So I am always ready to collaborate, especially if we are met with patience and kindness. And I will give that to you tenfold without question. I get a little choked up. I kind of love what I do, folks, really and truly. And then the other thing to just note, ACE is popular. I'm sorry, it's popular. It's a really, really popular program. People love it. And especially there are certain classes like cooking and baking, robotics, debate, and some of our more specialized classes with smaller capacity. Because it is popular, there are clubs that will fill up within minutes of registration opening. It'll just happen that way. Please do not promise your students that getting into a club is a guarantee, because it just isn't. We try to get as many people as possible into our popular offerings. I try to get as many people off of wait lists every trimester. When we are leading up to ACE, I'm looking at my computer at night, on weekends, anytime I can, to try and click on that spot to let your kid into a club, believe me. And a really, really important myth that I want to dispel: ACE is never full. I have gotten emails in the past saying, "You have nothing left. What am I supposed to do?" That is not true, and that is never true. I always have space in homework help, I always have space in lounge, and I almost always have space in at least a few clubs every single day. Is it a club that your child wants to take? Maybe not. But if you are concerned about care for your child after school, I always have care for your child after school. That is a promise. Okay? Got questions? You can always email acedci@dcinternationalschool.org. I will do my very best to help you. A really important thing: folks call all the time to the front desk. I almost never answer your calls. Here is why. I do not have a functional DCI phone in this office. But so when people call the front desk, if I happen to be available and it works, I can sometimes run to reception and call you and take your call or make arrangements to call you back if I find a conference room or a space with a phone. But I am an avid, fastest in the West email answerer. So if you email acedci at or you email me personally, I will get back to you very quickly. I have a long list of emails of people saying, wow, you got back to me so fast. I really care about it. Email is my chosen way to communicate, and I am deeply dedicated to it. If we need to have a call, I will find time for a call. But if you want to get a response quickly, I recommend email. And I think that is it. How exciting!
Ms. J, there are a few questions in the chat. The
Great.
first one is, are payments done weekly or monthly?
That is a fantastic question. So ACE has two choices. When you go to Community Pass and sign up for your club, you will be able to make one of two choices: pay in full or pay in part. So if you want to pay for your thing in full right there when you register, you can do that. If you want to pay in part, that means that the payment for your clubs will automatically be divided into 3 payments. You have to pay the first payment in order to complete your registration, and then we will charge you for the second payment in the second month and the third payment after the trimester is over. So for example, if you're taking one club, that's $135 for the trimester, which covers September, October, November. Then you will be charged $45 on the first when you first register, and then I will charge you another $45 in October, and I will charge you another $45 when the fall trimester is done. So that's how that works.
And then
Also, you do not have to have paid all of your fall bills in order to register for Winter ACE. You can register for Winter ACE and go right into it. When you register for Spring ACE, you need to have paid any leftover bills from the fall in order to register for Spring ACE. And right now, if you are a returning student to DCI, if you have unpaid bills from last year at any trimester, those have to be paid off before you can register for the next club.
thank you. And then the next one is, does the lounge option ever fill up?
Nope.
All right.
We have lots and lots of empty classrooms after school, and I can almost always scrounge up a responsible DCI adult somewhere. So if the lounge ever got really, really big, I would just open another room and file kids into another lounge. I will sit with your child myself if needed.
The next one is, why does registration have to be a race? Couldn't you just randomize all applications at the end of registration day?
That sounds very mathy and very challenging. And I just got a very bad headache just hearing you read that. Like I said, if you know a method in order to make it work, a system that does it, a system that can take into account all of your necessary discounts, that marries between the Aussie system, between our eSchool system, and between this Community Pass system, I would absolutely love to read your proposal for that. I would absolutely love to meet with you. But as of right now, I have yet to find programming, human power, etc. Yes, I know DPR has a randomized wait list. Thank you so much. They also have a huge staff of people working on it. They also have software that's very, very expensive that allows them to be able to do that. I have reached out before to try and find out what kind of system they use, and in my research, it was not compatible with the systems that we have. Another important piece of why we need to use a registration system that directly connects to eSchools is because it allows us to upload valuable data about who is participating in ACE, who is participating, who isn't participating, and it allows us to keep all of your information together. But again, if you know who for me to talk to at DPR to help me find a new system, if you know of a registration system that can work better than the ones that we have, again, I am always open to ideas. Please collaborate with me.
Thank you. The next one is, will the fall listings be available before registration opens?
Absolutely. My plan is to get it out to you the first week of school. so
Awesome.
that you will be able to see what is going on. So and if I get it out to you the first week of school, then that gives you at least 10 days to be able to peruse the offerings and see what you might want to try and make happen.
Great. The next one is, what does this mean for students who are on teams like robotics or debate? How does it work from year to year? If it is first come, first serve, is it that they can be on the team on year and then not not one the team the next? Sorry. How
Okay.
does that work for continuity?
So the classes that fill up the most, other than cooking and baking, are definitely the 6th grade novice debate and novice robotics classes. I find that participating in those classes in those first year do a really, really great job of helping your student to know in their heart if it is something that they want to keep doing, or if it's something that they tried and thought was cool and now they're moving on. I have never denied a kid who was in 6th grade novice robotics from being on the team in 7th grade and up. I have never had to, because it really does, the actual act of participating in the programming really does either awaken something in students, or it just like, this wasn't for me, but this was fun. Mr. Donovan always takes on returners into the actual competitive teams. The things that are really hardest to get into are the novice beginning courses where students have never taken it before. To that end, I am endlessly, I promise you, trying to find more teachers at DCI who can lead these things. Thank goodness we think we have someone on our faculty who can do novice robotics this year, because if we have him and he can do it, then that means that I might be able to let as many as 20 to 25 additional kids from last fall into the programming. We are very much at the mercy of the people who are on our faculty because they teach what we do for ACE. So if I, for example, have a teacher who's really passionate and experienced with skateboarding, we have skateboarding clubs. If that teacher doesn't come back the following year, we might not be able to keep the skateboarding club going, because we are just dependent on the talent of these amazing people who work with us to be able to bring your kids programs. Hiring outside people is challenging for a wide variety of reasons, so I try not to do it unless someone actually comes to me with a designed program.
The next one is the lounge option available from August 25th until ACE starts?
As of now, no, it is not.
All
ACE
right.
begins on September 15th.
All right. Somebody was asking if I can share the slides. I will be sending out the slides to everybody. And this session is also being recorded, so I'll be sending out the recording as well by the end of the week. And then there was a parent who asked if all sports and activities are paid. Yep, all sports and activities are paid.
Well, middle school is. So middle school
Oh,
ACE
sorry.
is paid, high school ACE is free.
Okay.
I had to fight
Sorry
real
about that.
hard for that, but I have kept high school ACE free.
Nice.
I don't know if I'll be able to do it forever, but man, did I go kicking and screaming into rooms to keep that going for y'all. For real.
Then the next question is, do you have a description of clubs? Oops, sorry, I lost the question. Description of clubs that were offered last school year?
I could show you an old chart. I email acedci at, and that's probably the best thing. But I'm telling you, if you share that on a listserv, families will think it's real and they'll take pictures of it and they'll think that that is the fall schedule. So if you have specific questions about specific things, email me, let me know. I'm more than happy to give you information about some of the things that are available. But again, if I'm able to get you that list by the week of August 25th, things don't open until September 8th.
The next question is, how does Community Pass work when a student has 2 households?
That's a really great question, and that is a challenging thing that happens with Community Pass. It is something that I have written tickets about. It is something that I have complained about. It is unfortunately a bit of a difficult thing. In the same way that in eSchools, when you register at DCI, we don't have 2 separate households in eSchools for a student dependent on parents. it's all just one student with one list of parents, guardians, etc. It mirrors what happens in eSchools and Community Pass. So it is one of those things where I can send communications to anybody on your list for an account for a single kid, but you might just have to make a decision about one username and one password and both use it and access it for the student. We do not hold on to credit card information on a student's account. You go in and you just pay for what you need to pay for. I think you can make partial payments in there as well. We can also come up with various ways to help you with any hiccups that you run into, but it is an issue of the system mirroring eSchools. And also, if I have duplicate students, sometimes they end up double booked into clubs. So on one occasion, I had a duplicate of one student and someone figured out how to add their student into their account. And then that student was booked twice into baking, which stopped another student from being able to get in. So please attempt as much as possible to use one account, one kid to register.
And there's another question saying, is there a different ACE program for high school students?
Yes. So we have a middle school chart of classes Monday through Friday and everything that we do. And then I will have a high school chart of classes Monday through Friday and everything that they do. For high school, you are welcome to register them for ACE yourself. You absolutely can, especially if there is a club that you really want them to get into. But something else that I do is I send out an email to all of high school, and it actually goes into their core meetings. Where they can just click on a chart and they can just click on a form and they can actually say what they want me to register them for. Because it's free and because a lot of high school clubs have huge capacities, like 100 kids can be in the Black Student Union, 100 kids can be in cosmetology, etc. They can just fill out that form and I will put them into those high school only clubs. So either you can sign them up or they can sign themselves up. But for after school, for middle school, since it carries charges, I need a guardian or a parent to actually sign them up to complete those charges.
All right. Says, how do students start clubs, and can you describe some clubs that have different levels of offerings like robotics?
Email me to start a club. That's what I tell students when we see them for orientation. I also, for families in middle school, you know about ATL. For high school, it's CORE. I send out presentations with reminders so students know how to sign up for clubs, to contact me to get something started, and I will start that process with them. It's very different for after school versus a lunch club. We will start lunch clubs in October, and lunch clubs are free. They happen during the kids' lunch times, which are fantastic. And as far as different levels like robotics, I am going to give you a name, Shane, SHANE Donovan, DONOVAN. Again, that is Shane, SHANE Donovan, DONOVAN. Email him at dcinternationalschool.org. He is our head of the robotics program. I'm hearing lots of robotics questions. He is terrific and he runs it and the kids love him and they make incredible things. So any questions you have about robotics, go ahead and contact him. Generally, I find the clubs are run, and as far as levels are concerned, it has to do with the instructors themselves. I hire instructors who are experts whenever possible. And Mr. Donovan is an expert on robotics. So I would say if you have a question about what class or what course your kid should be in robotics, email him. Or if you have a specific question for me, like I want my kid to take debate, but I'm trying to figure out where they fit in, let me know. I'm happy to give you advice. It's hard for me to give you one piece of advice that sweeps through everything every kid will need. I would rather collaborate with you individually to figure out the best course for your kid.
Then it says, when registering for ACE, would I need to register for 4 different clubs? I may have missed this information. If that is the case, will the price be 4 different prices? I would like my daughter to participate if possible for the whole week or at least Monday through Thursday.
Yes, as I put in the charts earlier, it's $135 per club for trimester. So 135 plus 135 is 270. So 2 and 2 is 4, so 14. So it would be $540 at the regular price to take clubs Monday through Thursday for 3 months. If you qualify for farms, it is less than half of that. I think it's 100. Yeah, if you qualify for farms, it's 180 for 3 months. So I'm telling you, fill out the farms forms and fill them out now and before September 8th. It is a massive discount.
Yeah. Then this says confirming ACE participants need to be picked up or self-released by 5:15 Monday through Friday.
That is correct. You have the option to add aftercare as late as 6 o'clock. Pardon me. And that is another important element of this, which is if your student is here after 6 o'clock, you incur late fees. So please make sure that you pick up your student by 6 p.m.
So family, that's a good question. How do families know if they are approved for farms?
That's a fantastic question. Please email reception@dcinternationalschool.org, reception. Or you can call the front desk, 202-808-9033. Ask to speak to our reception team and ask them the status of your application. And all of our reception team speak Spanish.
Great. Anything else come out? Any idea if the cost for ACE is an allowable expense to be covered by childcare FSA funds?
Yeah, I've definitely had families ask me to send them like statements and our tax ID number and things like that because they had flex spending accounts or something like that that covered it. But yeah, I'll write you a letter that says your kid was in childcare, whatever you want. I'll help you get your discounts wherever you need them.
All right, we have 2 more minutes. If there are any more questions, you can unmute yourself or put it in the chat.
You guys are terrific. I hope I know it's probably mostly adults, but for any kids who are out there, I have missed you. I am really excited to get things started for the coming school year. I am trying as best I can to put together a really, really cool collection of clubs for you to do both at lunchtime, after school. And our program would be nothing without your dedication and your joy that you bring to DCI. I say that in many ways, working in an American school today is one of the hardest things that you can do. But there is not an afternoon that goes by that I don't witness some kind of moment of profound joy from all of you. And it feeds my soul. You guys are fantastic. I can't wait to see you guys playing and having fun in your clubs again soon.
All right. Well, as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be shared with you all by the end of the week, both the recording and the presentation. Yeah, thank you all for joining us. Ms. J, thank you. To our interpreters, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
very much. Thank you, Miss Jilly.
Absolutely. Have a great couple more weeks. I'll see you in 2 weeks, friends.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.